All right, Google Hangouts took its goddamn time today. All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Keyboard Warriors presented by Crosslands MMA. My name is Eddie Law. I am your host. With me right now, Fred Kirby from Gem City Fighting and Stand and Bang MMA, and we're waiting on Aaron here to catch up to us. So let's get right into it here. UFC 190 went down this last weekend. Ronda Rousey possibly made her case. Actually, I think she made her case as the greatest female combat sports athlete ever. Like, what do you think of that fight, and what do you think of Ronda overall?
I think she's been made her case for that, kind of, honestly. I mean, the fucking pay-per-view buys she gets and shit, nobody's ever touched that shit as far as what female combat sports goes, you know what I'm saying? And she just keeps doing it like we was just now talking about before we went live, dog. If she's able to complete her career with these wins, with all finishes, she'll go down as the fucking best combat sports athlete of all time, regardless of gender. Like, how do you beat that? All finishes, undefeated, you know, Olympic medalist, man. She's fucking incredible. You really can't say enough about her. And what I like about her is she's kind of got that Conor McGregor thing going. She talks shit. Like, even right after she finished, bet you look back at her like, don't cry. Like, I love that shit, dog. That's like, you know what I'm saying? It's the kind of shit that maybe some people will dislike her for it, but it gives her personality, man. She's the shit.
Yeah, no, she's and again, just like you were saying, we were talking before, not one boring fight. No decisions on her record whatsoever. No girl can stand with her. No girl can go to the ground with her. It's just scary. And this last fight, and I hate using Mike Goldberg's quotes because Mike Goldberg is a bit of a jackass, but Mike Goldberg said it, and I have to borrow it. She brawled with the brawler, which is what Betch Kohea likes to do, is overwhelm people with her striking. She brawled with her and then put her to sleep with a nice right hand, and she gifted her a little left on the way down. That is, and keep in mind, Ronda Rousey was not a stand-up fighter when she first started fighting, right? She was a judo and ground fighter. Oh, here we go. Aaron Robbins joining us. How you doing?
I'm trying to figure out my new computer. Up to Windows 10, and now it's being a cunt.
All right, man. Hey, well, we're on live now, so keep the cuts coming.
Let's be very cognizant about what we're recording, when we're recording, and what's being recorded, and all this silly fucking nonsense.
What difference does that make that we're on live?
No, I'm just letting you know we're on live, so you know. Anyway, fucking, we were just talking about Ronda Rousey and her fight, obviously at UFC 190, and her possibly going down as the most successful combat sports athlete if she retires undefeated ever. What do you think about that?
Well, yeah, obviously. Stop talking to me till I figure this shit out.
Yeah, he looks preoccupied. Let's talk about how much.
I'll jump back on with you fuckers when I can.
All right.
Let's talk about how fucking shitty this trilogy is, and I want to tie another trilogy into this. Okay, hold on. Before we get into that, let me allude to a point that Renzo Gracie made on Stand and Bang this weekend. He said that he was impressed with Ronda's ability to not flinch in the striking exchanges. And that's a tremendous point, man, because Ronda comes from a judo background. We all know that Ronda's been doing judo since she was 3. Fucking arm bars in her sleep, the whole lot of it. But one of the problems that pure grapplers have in transitioning to MMA is getting used to getting punched in their fucking face. That's Brock Lesnar never really got used to that. He was always great in them grappling exchanges when he was on top, but getting punched, he would always kind of flinch. Ronda is a fucking prodigy, Jack. Like, she took right to striking, and she was able to get right in the pocket with Betch Kohea and not flinch and still keep her eye on her target, take a punch right in the face, and still deliver one back right where she wanted to give it. So that's extremely fucking impressive shit for somebody who hasn't been striking for that fucking long. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just wanted to say that. Now, the trilogy with her and Miesha Tate. Does anybody in the world? I get it, Miesha low key deserves it, but like, what the fuck, dude? Nobody wants to see this fight, do they?
No, nobody gives a shit about Miesha Tate fighting Ronda again, because you know what's gonna happen? The same fucking thing that happened the last 2 times. Arm bar to hell. And maybe this time Ronda decides to take the arm home finally with her, just to be like, all right, no more rematches for you, bitch. Crack. That shit's mine. Fuck you. You're done. Go blow Brian Carey away to make so feel better. That's about it. Like, there's nothing there. There's nothing there in that fight. What, Miesha Tate's not going to beat Ronda Rousey. There was Nick Pilecki from Crosswell. You know Nick. Nick actually picked Betch Kohea to beat Ronda Rousey. And we were doing this pre-fight show that we do before every pay-per-view. And everybody on we had all four of us were on, me, Don, and Jesse and Nick, and all of us just ridiculed the fuck out of Nick for picking Bethe Correia. And later that night, after Bethe Correia got knocked the fuck out, and just went face planted on the fucking mat, please believe that dude got a ton of messages on fucking Facebook and shit. So that's just insane. If people that picked Miesha Tate either didn't watch the last two fights, or delusional as fuck, or really buying into the fact that she was able to hurt Jessica Eye with that right hand she has. Now I'm not gonna bullshit. Miesha Tate has definitely improved, but she is like 4 levels under Ronda Rousey.
The problem with that is so has Ronda. Obviously, yeah. Hey, you know what I think happens in the third fight with Miesha Tate? I think she fucking knocks her out. I think Ronda knocks Miesha out this time around. I think she's out to prove things now, man. Kind of like John Jones would fight people at their strong points just to kind of prove to them. Glover Teixeira, don't think that you're going to win this fight in the phone booth. I'll fight you right at that fucking range and still kick your ass. I think that Ronda's going to come out and bang with Miesha, and I think that Miesha's a fucking crafty veteran and she's a bad bitch. I think she'll last a little longer than old silly ass Bethe did. But I think eventually you end up seeing the same thing, man. Ronda's boxing is nasty. She's obviously got fucking one-punch knockout power. That's fucking a nice little wrinkle to add to your game at this fucking point. Like, you know what I'm saying? She is a bad bitch. I tell you what, man. And it doesn't fucking matter. I'm going to keep saying it. Nobody gives a flying fuck clearly. But Miesha Tate needs to fight Holly Holm. Holly Holm is the person that probably needs to fight Ronda Rousey, but she needs a fucking legit test. Miesha Tate is that legit test. Miesha Tate is Goro.
Yeah, Miesha Tate is Goro.
You know what I'm saying? Shit.
And here's the thing about that too. Here's the thing. Holly Holm, people are saying Holly Holm's she's gonna be the one that's gonna beat Rousey. First of all, I don't buy it, especially not the fact the way she fights now, right? I mean, yeah, sure you might be able to point fight Ronda, you know what I mean? But I think with Ronda coming after your arm, she's coming after now she's trying to knock you out. Dude, there's no way Holly Holm beats her right now. I agree with you. She needs that test. If she can survive, Miesha Tate's takedowns, because look, let's be honest, Miesha Tate can get you to the ground and will get on top of you and will drop some ground and pound. And if Holly Holm can find a way to beat her and deal with some adversity, I could kind of buy a Holm Rousey matchup. But until then, I can't buy the Holm fight. I couldn't buy the Eye fight pretty much ever. And the Correia fight, I never bought. I never understood that. The fact that the only way that even happened was because Correia was undefeated and Ronda Rousey asked for her.
Yeah, listen, man. Holly Holm is actually a legit polished striker. So we kind of want to see that. If she can build some kind of takedown defense, that would be interesting for Ronda. But other than that, that's it. But before we move off the Ronda thing, though, I just want to bring up something kind of interesting. Everybody always talks about this idea of Ronda fighting men. Okay, well, after this big fight, Ronda's been a massive topic. So a lot of my friends that come around, people who are just what you call casual fans, they're all talking about Ronda. I'm known as the big MMA fan amongst all my friends, so they all go, "Hey, yo, do you see that fight? Ronda Rousey's pretty badass, right?" So it's kind of been this topic, and a few guy friends of mine, a few grown men have kind of been like, she's tough and all, but she couldn't kick my ass as a grown man. And I'm like, yo, she would smash you. Like, I'm not even being funny, but she would literally stomp the shit out of you. You don't legitimately think that you could beat her just because you're a man. And a couple of these guys legit thought just because they were big, strong men, and it's kind of amazing. Do you know did you ever have that conversation with any of your buddies? Or are any of them silly enough to think that they can actually take her in a legit fight?
Of fucking course. You will never find one Mexican anywhere that thinks they're going to lose to Ronda Rousey or any female on the planet, all right? All my friends is like, yeah, man, I beat her. No problem, Holmes. I just 1-2 and she's done. I'm like, dude, you will be on the ground so fast. You will be wondering what the hell's going on, and your arm will be gone in seconds. What are you talking about? It's
ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous.
Not to mention, and since you brought up the fact that people were talking about her fighting men, this asswipe that writes for Fox Sports 1, I'm not even going to say his name because he annoys me that much, but this fucking jackass wrote just the dumbest fucking blog post ever saying, Ronda Rousey against Floyd Mayweather. This needs to happen. We need to make it happen. I'm like, you fucking retard. This dude got shit on so bad in his own little comment section. It was just bad. But I mean, I'm assuming he did it for the clicks and shit, just to piss off people and cause controversy and shit, and fucking get clicks and whatnot. But can we be done with that? Are we done with that conversation? That fight's not gonna happen. And in fact, it'd be irresponsible to make it happen. Because one, a man fighting a woman, you're almost just saying like, hey, it's okay for men to hit women now, right? And 2, Ronda Rousey would tear his arm off.
And 3, who is Floyd? Floyd Mayweather won't even fight Triple G.
Yeah, he's fighting this fucking
Come on,
tomato
man.
king.
He avoids people in his own sport, let alone. Come on. That's ridiculous, silly talk. What the fuck? But I do find it funny that average guys out there think they actually stand a chance against somebody like Ronda Rousey. Like, she would whoop a bar full of bikers. You guys have no earthly clue what that woman is actually like. Like, you're just fucking morons.
Yeah, for all of you that watch Expendables 3, that scene in the bar where she whips the shit out of dudes, that could actually happen.
Yeah.
All right, sure, that was a scene, and that was put together and whatnot, and whatever. That would fucking happen to you. All right, go ahead. First of all, fuck around and find Ronda Rousey in a bar somewhere. First of all, she don't travel alone. All right, I'm sure Shayna Baszler and Jessamine Duke and the other chick would probably hold their own against you too, asswipes. So go for it. Please jump these chicks, because they will all fuck you up. And Ronda Rousey will just fucking finish all of you motherfuckers off. With Ronda Rousey now coming with knockout power. She's like a fucking. In fact, she's so goddamn marketable now. She spokesperson for Carl's Jr. She's fucking got her own movie. Her movie about her autobiography starring her, which will be interesting to see if she can act, like herself. Because last time I seen something like that happen, it was a terrible movie. So
pretty gangster shit, though. Pretty gangster shit. I'm doing a movie about me, and I'm playing me in the starring role, Jack. That's pretty fucking badass. Now let's get to Cyborg kind of pissing him on before we jump to the co-main event of 190. Cyborg actually thinks that she's going to be able to sue Ronda for slander, and I think English would point out that it's libel. He would fuck me in my ass on Twitter for that shit constantly. So.
Yeah, no, fucking, and for anyone that didn't see it, it's on Twitter, and of course. Every MMA blog ever fucking jumps on it and says, Cyborg planning to fucking sue Ronda Rousey. First of all, I don't think Cyborg might have talked to somebody about it. They probably told her, like, yeah, hey, you got no case. Chill the fuck out. But Ronda Rousey said during her media, the million fucking hours of media she does, she said that, Cyborg did with steroids. It's probably why she has a hard time making 135. Maybe she didn't do them, she would have been fine or whatever. So that's a true statement. Cyborg was popped for PEDs, for steroids specifically. So now Cyborg comes out and says, oh, how dare you slander me in the media? You're going to be hearing from our lawyers on Twitter, and fucking everyone jumps on this. She has no case. I mean, do you see any chance whatsoever she could sue anybody for this shit?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's a blanket statement, and she did actually test positive for steroids. She served her fucking suspension, the whole 9. So, whatever. It's fucking stupid. I guess the whole point with it is it keeps the whole Cyborg Ronda thing alive. I'll say this quickly before we wrap up this whole fucking idea with a bow. Mm-hmm. Cyborg, for my money, she either needs to make 35 or shut the fuck up and make 45 as exciting as Ronda has made 35. Listen, you're just as dominant as she is. Go do your fucking thing or whatever, man. Like, if the fight's not going to happen, then whatever. She talks about she's going to fucking die if she tries to make 35. All right, then shut the fuck up. Either make the weight or shut up. It's enough with it.
Yeah, and honestly, and on that point, or this is a different point. You know how before we were talking about Conor McGregor, everybody calls him out? I mean, for example, Chad Mendes was making kind of shitty money before he fought Conor McGregor. He fights Conor McGregor, and he makes $500,000. Right? Plus whatever else he fucking did. Does Ronda Rousey have the same effect? You think Cyborg was looking for a payday?
Well, sure. But I mean, she either has to make the weight or Ronda has to agree to move up. Ronda holds the chips. Dr. Feelgood, are you with us?
Yeah, apparently everybody's having troubles with Microsoft Edge when they move up to Windows 10. Google Hangouts doesn't want to work. So I'm downloading Chrome, Google Chrome.
All right.
You look especially pale again.
It's the lack of sun here in the Upper Peninsula there, honky.
That's cute. Let's start off with a racial slur. Now the fucking show's began.
You want to talk about racial slurs? I'll send out the unedited version of the last show.
Please do it. I fucking missed it. I want to hear it, dude. That's what they do.
It wasn't a goddamn racial slur as far as it goes. It was inappropriate. But that's my thing.
It certainly was.
I'm sure you guys will talk about it on Musings at some point, right? Because I want to hear about that shit.
Yeah, as far as it goes, I'll fucking say it on Musings. You tune into that shit, there's no fucking whatever. Let's go.
All right. Real quick, you want to weigh in on Ronda, Aaron?
In what respect?
Just overall, her performance, the fucking fight with Tate coming up, and then Chris Cyborg trying to fucking sue her for slander.
Okay, I'll sum it up real quick. She crushed another can. Nobody wants to see her fight Tate and fuck Cyborg.
You know what? He said everything we said in like 5 seconds.
Yeah, okay. We can move on to the co-main event now. That's what we just spent 20 minutes saying.
There you go. Shogun versus Lil Nog. Shogun wins a decision. They were trying to hype up the fight, saying it's gonna be the same fucking thing that happened in Pride. Clearly, not even close. There was like a minute, or there was a few minutes there that maybe looked pretty good, right? Where they were actually throwing. But after that, it was just kind of Shogun. It got boring. The fucking crowd started to steal. First of all, 2 Brazilians fighting each other, legendary Brazilian fighters, and the Brazilians were booing them. That's how bad it got on there. So, Aaron, what do you think of the fight overall? And I mean, are both of these guys kind of done?
Fuck those Brazilians. I like the fight. Little Nog damn near took him out in the first round. Yeah. It was kind of like it was 10 years ago light. These guys are a little bit older. They don't take the damage like they used to, but Little Nog almost had him out. Not my say on whether these fuckers should retire. There's too many fucking idiots out on Twitter and Facebook saying that everybody should retire. It's none of my business. Little Nog wants to fight, great. If he wants to share an office with Big Nog, awesome. As far as Shogun goes, he's 33 years old. No reason for him to retire. He's over with Rafael Cordero. Let him stay there for a year or two, see what he can do. Maybe he can revitalize himself.
You know what? Actually, listening to one of your episodes, you were actually talking about Rafael Cordero and how he's able to kind of bring these fighters back, right? Like you guys were talking about Verdum, RDA, and now Shogun. You think Shogun goes on some kind of run now because he's been training with Rafael?
Easy.
Well, yeah, I mean that's kind of over exaggerating what I'm saying. I think
a little bit, yeah.
I think he can extend his shelf life. You remember that? You remember that infomercial where you sprinkle that powder on your fruit and it doesn't get all bruised after a couple days? Maybe some shit like that. But no, I don't think he's going to make a run for the title. I think that if he sticks with Rafael Cordero over there at King's MMA, we might see a neat version of him towards the end of his career where he's a little smarter, not running into that old shovel uppercut from OSP and stupid shit like that. But as far as like making a run for it, no.
All right, Fred, what do you think of the fight, Shogun Lil Nog? And as far as Shogun goes, yeah, he's 33, but he's got quite a bit of like miles on him, right?
You know what, Eddie? I think you should take your tampon out. You and all the other MMA fans. You know what fight sucked? The fight before that fight. That fucking Ultimate Fighter Brazilian. That is what a shitty fight looks like. I tell you what, man. I didn't expect much out of this fight coming into it. And it was not like their first one. Let's not get fucking crazy. But all things considered, I thought it was a good fight. And maybe it had a little bit to do with that last fight sucking so much. But I tell you what, when they came back around and Shogun and Little Nog came out and Little Nog rocked Shogun in the first round, I thought, son of a bitch, here we go. I am watching a UFC pay-per-view. Goddamn. This isn't fucking RFA fucking on an off weekend. Like, it reminded me of what we pay money. Listen, they might be at the tail end of their career, but that's still high-level MMA. That was a high-level fight, man. They were giving it back to each other. Shogun looked good. He was throwing that body kick. Quite frankly, I thought Little Nog won the fight for whatever it's worth. Not that anybody gives a fuck what I think, but I thought it was a pretty good fight, man, all things considered.
I gave it to Little Nog, too, but, I mean, it's not like it was a robbery. No. Here's the big problem with that, what Fred was talking about before. Those two fights didn't fucking belong on the pay-per-view.
No.
That's ridiculous. I don't care what kind of deal the UFC has with Brazil over there and that they thought that they had to put those 4 shitbirds on the pay-per-view, but what the fuck? No. That shit belongs at best in the middle of the prelims, more than likely, put that shit on Fight Pass because seriously, unless you're a Brazilian, you don't care who wins Tough Brazil, and you sure as hell don't take a card that's already only so-so to a fucking screeching halt by putting 4 ranked amateurs on there.
I will say the first one, those cats, that was a pretty decent fight, all things considered, but the second fight was atrocious. So
I'd have to agree with that. The second fight had a really young guy fighting a pretty old dude, so It was yeah, it was pretty shitty. All right, let's move on here to a couple of things. Actually no, Big Nog loses to Struve, and Dana White saying he's retiring. He's gonna give him a nice little office job at the UFC. Big Nog, I think isn't he 40 years old now, or gonna be?
39, yeah, 40.
Yeah, 40. How did he look to you? To me, he looked kind of stiff, especially against Struve.
He looked the same that he's looked for a month of Sundays, in my opinion. I don't think he looked any worse than he has before. He looked all right. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think that he fucking is going to go on any title runs, but I also don't think I'm necessarily afraid for his safety. I feel like the mighty Henzo said, it's up to him, man. If he wants to fight more, go for it. If he's ready to call it quits and fucking pull the Chuck Liddell and the Matt Hughes and lay in the cut and get paid good money, there ain't nothing wrong with that either. But I feel like if he still really wants to compete, Stefan Struve is a fucking like Dalcin, man. He did all right in there. I don't think he had a horrible performance. Not to where we like need to take him behind the barn and shoot him in the head. You know what I'm saying? All right.
He's yeah. Well, and what do you think of Big Nog? I mean, do you think he's done? I mean, obviously he's done because he's choosing to be done. But did he maybe had more in the tank left in the tank?
No, I think he was running on fumes. You know, he's a warrior from way back. The dude's 39 years old. He's been fighting since he was 4. It's enough. You know what I mean? He probably is already one of those guys who's maybe a little mushy in the head from all the beatings that he's already taken. So whatever job they gave him in the UFC, I'm sure it involves crayons. But other than that, yeah, I mean, there's something about knowing when you're done. And if old Daddy Dana comes up and says, "Look, we'll give you a nice, a nice office job," then yeah, go the way of Hughes and Liddell, make your money an easier way. I mean, it's not an easy go making your money getting punched in the face. So if they offer him a desk job, take it.
Yeah, and actually, I just saw an article right now on my Facebook timeline that says that Little Nog believes he beat Shogun and he wants a 3rd fight with him.
No, well, he can just chill out on that now.
Let's not do that shit.
All right, let's move on here to what?
I have talked about this. I'm about fucking sick of all the trilogies.
Yeah, it's enough with it. Unless it's really warranted, fuck a trilogy. God damn, man. I don't care how good those first 2 fights was. Unless they, like, split them and there was some controversy, fuck that.
Yeah. Oh, real quick, Claudia Gadelha is getting her rematch with Joanna Jędrzejczyk for the title here. First of all, she beat the shit out of Jessica Aguilar. Someone you've actually spoken with before. And, she's known as, outside of the UFC, being the best strawweight. Well, now she's in the UFC, and she couldn't hang with I don't think she could hang with a number 1 ranked strawweight. What do you think of this rematch with Johanna?
Who said she was the number 1 strawweight except for Jessica Aguilar?
No. What? Claudia? No, I think except for Jessica Aguilar. I said Claudia is the number 1. Claudia is number 1, right?
She was number 1 outside of the UFC. She's been in the fucking UFC. What are you smoking?
No, I'm talking about Jessica Aguilar said she was the number 1 outside the UFC.
What I just said, dickhead. Are we in like some sort of fucking weird-ass loop?
We might be, dude. I was chasing around a fucking 3-year-old for the last 3 hours. All right, I'm a little tired. Goddamn.
Fucking here we go. Jessica Aguilar, you're not the number 1 strawweight outside of nowhere. You might be number 16 or 17 in the UFC. Let's get realistic. I knew you were going to get starched, and you did. Claudia Gadelha, I gave her the first fight against Johanna. So I give her a fucking great chance of wearing the strap in the rematch.
Yeah, what do you think, Fred?
Definitely the best fight to probably make it strawweight at this point, right? I mean, like the first fight was really close. Johanna seems to be running away with it as far as grapplers go. She's got that shit figured out. So yeah, let her fight another explosive striker. Plus, Gadelha looked fucking great against Aguilar. So yeah. I think it makes all the sense in the world. And the division's still super young, so it's not like there's a shitload of contenders anyways. They might as well make that's definitely a great fight in the fight to make.
Well, and that's the thing with strawweight is, I mean, pretty much at this point you can throw all their names in a hat, give the hat a shake, and pick out the next person. I mean, it's really tough to tell ranks, tough to tell the depth of talent. There's only a few girls in the division anyways, so it's the only one that, I mean, I actually want to tune into and kind of be like a little excited for, I think.
All right, let's move on here to World Series of Fighting 22. Rousimar Palhares retains his title against Jake Shields after poking the shit out of his eyes and then holding onto a Kimura a little too long and cranking it. Now I know that Aaron has a different opinion than the popular opinion, so I want to hear Aaron's opinion on this first.
He was just trying to help Jake out. He had something in his eye. He was just trying to help him out. No, man, Rousimar's a fucking nut. That's what that is. If you start hooking people's eyes and doing fish hooking and all sorts of crazy shit, no, Palhares has been fucking nuts. Nuttier than a plate of brownies since he was in the UFC. He got fucking removed from the UFC. Henzo and Big Nog begged Cepho to give him another chance. Gave another chance. He destroyed John Fitch and then tried to fucking rip Jake Shields' arm off. This guy needs to be, a mob enforcer or, somebody money. You send Palhares over to his house to fucking lean on him a little bit. But he can't be in professional competition. The guy he's got too many screws loose.
Yeah, and Fred, look, World Series of Fighting just stripped him of the title, and they banned him indefinitely, citing the fact that they're going to wait for the Nevada State Athletic Commission to basically, I guess, discipline Rousimar themselves. Was the strip title warranted to you and as far in the suspension as well?
Yeah, it was. It pains me to say it, man, and at first I was kind of like giving him the benefit of the doubt. I like the cocksucker, not him. I like the way he fights. I mean, listen, how many people can say they fucking submitted Jake Shields and John Fitch back-to-back and actually fucking did it in devastating fashion? And some of the guys that he subbed and the way he's done it, and he is a pretty fucking impressive fighter, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a damn shame that the guy could very well get banned from the sport for something as weird as just not knowing when to let go of the submission. And think about it. He's got this issue where he swears up and down he's not a dirty fighter, okay? He does this shit over and over and over again. So either he is slightly retarded or he's a sociopath, and he's doing it on purpose, and then he's going, oh, poor me, I'm sorry, no, I would never do something like that. It hurts my feelings so bad that you guys would think that I'm a dirty fighter and a cheater. I almost believe him when he says shit like that. But it doesn't fucking matter if he keeps fucking cheating in fights. What the fuck if he keeps holding the submissions and the eye pokes and all the crazy shit that's happened with him? It's just a shame that he's such a good talent. Why can't he be like a Jason Mayhem Miller? It was easy to say bye to Jason because, he got that ass thumped a couple times. It's going to be hard for me to say bye to Palhares because he's going out on such a high note. He's went out with some really impressive victories, and now we might not never see the guy fight high-level competition again, all because he's a fucking nut.
Yeah, and watching the replay, because I didn't get to watch it live. I was watching 190, but I got to watch the replay. And the first, I don't know if I agree with the mass of the MMA fans, but Mazzagati's getting a shitload of hate for that, and he did do a pretty shitty job in that fight. But look, refs don't get disciplined, man. But I mean, what the fuck's up with Steve Mazzagatti, right? I mean, so many eye pokes, and he kept saying, don't poke him in the eyes, watch the eye pokes, never once took a point and do anything. A lot of people complained about Mazzagatti before. Aaron, do you think maybe Mazzagatti should just stop?
Well, why do you keep asking me if these professionals should just stop? I'm a professional couch sitter. I don't know. It's not up to me. Mazzagatti's not just going to wake up one day and be like, you know what? I'm a shitty ref. I'm fucking out of here. If that was going to happen, it would have already fucking happened. It's up to the professional organizations. If they see, Mazzagatti has so many complaints against him. We don't see him in the UFC anymore, do we?
Right.
All right, so it's going to have to be up to each individual organization if they're going to employ Mazzagatti. Should he have said something, or should he have acted on the eye pokes? Absolutely. But as far as the stoppage, he was, on the spot Charlie with, Palhares just cranked it too hard for too long. That wasn't Mazzagatti's fault. He is a shitty referee, but, they still let Jaron Vallel in the UFC. So,
Very true. Yeah. And of course, fucking Jake Shields throws a punch after the fight's over. Fred, do you think he gets in trouble?
Do I think he will get in trouble? Probably not, for some weird reason. Do I think he should? This is the one thing where I gotta disagree with Master Henzo. Sorry, sir, but yeah, I don't. Two wrongs don't make a right, man. Like you don't get to blast homeboy after the fact. But listen, Paul Harris has done this to a lot of people, right?
Yep.
How many of them cheap shotted him afterwards?
I don't think any of them. They weren't able to. They were too busy fucking writhing in pain.
Yeah, well, either way, none of them took a fucking swing at him. For any of the other weird shit he's done in the past, they realize you can't do that. Quite frankly, DW made that very fucking clear with Paul Daly. That swinging after the bell shit will not be tolerated. So, I mean, no. I get it. Like, he was kind of fucking pissed off and he just lost and shit. I get it. But, you know, quite frankly, it ain't like he was going to do a lot of damage with that old fucked up arm. And, you know, like I said, two wrongs don't make it right, man. Just because you got cheated, you don't get to kick a dude in the nuts.
Very true. All right, moving on here to the next thing. At World Series of Fighting, of course, the Diaz brothers were in attendance to support Jake Shields, or their friend. And of course, shit goes down. Khabib Nurmagomedov also in the building somehow runs into Nate Diaz. They start talking shit. They start fighting, and the fight not only happens in the arena, but the Diaz brothers supposedly waited for Khabib outside of the arena and threw down outside with there was a chair flat at some point. I've watched like 6 or 7 videos now. It's look, you like this kind of shit, right, Fred?
In the words of the great English, aka Andrew Reid, brilliant. Brilliant. And they waited for those Russians to come out of there. I fucking love it, man. Listen, nobody whipped out no pistols. Nobody whipped out no knives. A couple good old-fashioned chairs got thrown. Some drinks got spilled. A couple punches and kicks. I fucking love it. I hope they line up this Nurmi and Nate Diaz fight. It keeps Nate Diaz relevant. It's a nice little warm-up fight for Nurmi since he's been gone for a fucking month of Sundays at this point. I love it. And what better, you know, it's almost like the John Jones DC thing, man. This gives them some fucking real heat. Some legit heat. I love it.
Yeah, and Khabib's already asking for Nate Diaz. He wants to fight that dude. Like,
fuck yeah.
Dana White, so it's like, hey, fucking make the fight. But with Nick Diaz, Nick Diaz has his hearing coming up at Nevada State Athletic Commission on August 13th. This probably doesn't help him. It probably hurts him a little bit. They might bring that up. So, Aaron, are we making a lot about nothing? Are we making a mountain out of a molehill? Whatever the fuck the saying is.
Well, I don't know. Henzo seemed to think it was just boys having fun.
I think
that might be the best fucking viewpoint on that there is.
Well, you know, and there's also the thing that no press is bad press. Up until this point, people were talking about Nate coming back, and I wasn't really feeling it. But now if there's a little bit of legitimate hatred between Nurmagomedov and Nate, I like that because we've seen traditionally that guys that really dislike Nate Diaz don't do well against him. They let that emotion get in there, and Nate's always pissed off. He just wakes up every day and he's like, fuck you! So it doesn't really bother him so much. Where fucking Nurmagomedov got on, he's like, I was attacked by 2 thugs, but they ran away from me. Oh, get the fuck out of here with your weird-ass syntax and terrible English. Yeah, I think it's great. I liked it. This is one of the things where I absolutely agree with Fred. I like it when little scuffles break out and guys do stupid shit like this. And so, yeah, I hope they set up the fight, and I hope they actually hate each other when they get in the cage. It'll be great.
It'll make for a good fight, I think. So, all right, let's talk. Actually, something that Fred brought up not too long ago. It was about Dan Henderson.
Yep.
Hendo. He's going to be fighting. Yeah, he's going to be fighting Vitor Belfort. And before he announced his fight, or said he was fighting, people were trying to guess who was going to fight, and obviously the name everyone was going to throw out right away was Fedor. And he goes, well, Fedor's going to go to Bellator. Fred, you brought it up. Have you heard something about that, or do you believe he's going to go to Bellator?
Nah, I just threw it out there that I thought it was weird that fucking Hendo tweeted that shit, man. I don't know. Like, I mean, maybe he was just fucking like, hey, dumbasses, and just fucking made some shit up to make us all fucking feel stupid. But I don't know. Maybe the cute little prick knows something that we all don't. And it just seems like it poetically perfect, right? Fedor would come back, and then he'll end up in Bellator fighting Kimbo Slice. Like, I almost buy it. Like, Hendo knows something we don't or something.
And Aaron, look, as far as Fedor in the UFC, Verdum wants the rematch. He wants to fight Fedor in a rematch in December. You know, Verdum against Fedor. It's just a weird fight to hear. I mean, to want to see. I don't really care to see it. But what do you think about that fight? Do you think it happens?
Well, he beat Fedor at his own element before, and now he owns the octagon. So I think Fedor does pretty piss poor against Verdum in the rematch.
Yeah, and again, if you haven't seen it, you actually go on Fight Pass and watch that fight.
Let me tell you something, Jack. I got a better shot at fighting John Jones next in the octagon than Fedor does at fighting Fabricio Verdum. You know what? I like Verdum and his goofy little faces, but he needs to just shut up now. He ain't fighting Fedor next. Fedor probably won't even sign with the UFC, and if he does, he ain't getting a fucking heavyweight title shot through the gate, no matter how bad Verdummy wants it. For what reason, I don't know. He beat him already. The fuck is he talking about? Fedor. No. Oh, man.
Verdummy. You're something else, Fredo.
Jesus Christ.
All right, let's talk real quick about this weekend's card before we wrap it up. Over UFC Nashville on Saturday night, main event is Glover Teixeira against Ovince St. Preux. They should just okay, really? Really, you think it's gonna be a shitty fight?
No, I just can't stand OSP, man.
Grow up.
No, don't. It's just funny. But no, for real though.
When did you develop the old fart noise as part of your repertoire?
I don't. That's what I think when I hear OSP's name, man. I don't care if he knocks Shogun out or not. That sound.
Flatulence. That's what he thinks.
I don't know. Whatever. Are you guys excited for this fight?
I've never been so excited in all my life.
But the thing is, Glover is usually exciting, right? Like it's OSP that's sucking the wind out of this thing, isn't it?
Didn't he knock the shit out of Shogun?
Is that just me?
Yeah, dude, that's all you. I've never been like, oh man, Glover Teixeira's fighting tonight. And I'll tell you what, I usually turn the TV off when OSP steps in the cage. I'm like, this fucking guy. He's like a gigantic Neil Magny as far as I'm concerned. I don't know how the hell he has the wins that he has, but I'm just waiting for him to be exposed.
Ah, man, look, these two should be fucking just throwing punches the whole time. Neither one. OSP can somewhat wrestle, but Glover Teixeira doesn't have much of a ground game. He's not going to take anyone down. They're going to be just fucking trying to knock each other out, right?
You thinking of Phil Davis? Because OSP got snuffed by old Darth Vader.
You're right, yeah.
And people are like big on Vader. They're like, he's one of the best wrestlers. No. No, he's not the best nothing. So if Ryan Bader beat you, I'm sorry, but your stock went way down, OSP. As Freddie would say.
Yeah, no. I think the OSP, if he doesn't try to get cute and test his boxing, because I don't think his boxing is half as good as knocking out Shogun might indicate. Yeah, I think if he tries to get cute and test his boxing out, he'll get his ass knocked out by Glover. But now that I think about it, I do think he's going to try to wrestle fucking, man. Like I think he'll taste a little bit of power and he'll either get knocked out or he'll fucking start diving on the doubles.
Pretty much. All right, and then the co-main event, Michael Johnson against Beneil Dariush. Again, it's another fight. It's not really that exciting. But what do you think about that fight, Fred?
For old Michael Johnson, he gets another. He's another one. I don't know, man. For some reason, I get it. He's on a win streak and shit. I don't care about Michael Johnson. I don't believe in him. I think Beneil's going to beat him in this fight. I think. Okay, here's the deal. All bullshit aside, I think he's overrated.
Which one, Michael Johnson?
Yeah. Like, okay, hold on though. Fucking Dr. Philgood, you said his record, man. He's coming off of wins against like what is it? Was it Joe Lozon? Fucking who else, man? He beat 3 people in a row that I just wasn't really. They all are kind of on the tail end of their career.
Well, he beat Edson Barboza, Joe Lozon, and 2 other shitbirds.
There you go. The other shitbirds are the ones that concern me. The Edson Barboza one, I'll give him. But other than that, the 3 wins before that, they kind of built this win streak. I'm just not impressed with those 3 guys. They're all kind of on the tail end of their shit, man. So
you're not impressed with him beating old Joey Lozon?
No, I'm not. I don't care that Joe Lozon just snuffed out Takanori Gomi. I do dig. Did you guys see the video that Lozon put up calling out Rousimar Palhares?
Yeah, Paul Harris is kind of a dick.
Yeah.
That's the title of that video because he said that like 9 times. Yeah, he's kind of a dick. He's kind of a dick.
All right.
Yeah.
And I guess worth mentioning, Uriah Hall's fighting some guy whose picture's not even on the fucking website.
Mentioning Eddie, it's late on the East Coast.
All right. I guess it's not worth mentioning. All right. Well, that's gonna be it for the show. Now, you guys had Renzo Gracie on his last episode. I can't fucking wait to hear it. So, Aaron, you want to go ahead and tell the people about the episode?
Yes, we had Renzo Gracie on our last episode.
It's awesome. How'd it go?
He was as good as you thought he would be. Very gracious guy. Very honest opinion about Paul Harry. Honest opinion about the Nate Diaz-Nurmagomedov scuffle. Told a great story about how he realized that his legacy was secured in Russia and around the world. And just very respectful to Honda Housey and Claudia Gadela. He was just a real good talk. Now, on a serious note, if anybody's watching the show and knows how to make fucking Google Hangouts work on Windows 10, get at me on Twitter or Facebook because I'm pissed.
All right, make sure you go to their website, standandbangmma.com, for that episode. Is it up yet?
Yeah, no, don't ever go to our website. I haven't done shit with that in a month. Go to SoundCloud and type in Stand and Bang. It'll pop right up. Or go to Stitcher or iTunes or fucking anywhere else that you can find a podcast and put in Stand and Bang. As far as I know, we're the only podcast with that name, so chances are you'll find it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in tonight. Thanks to Aaron. You can follow him at Stand and Bang Radio. Fred is over at Kirby_MMA and at Gen City Fighting. You can follow the page at Crosslands MMA. Keyboard Warriors is at Keyboard MMA. And myself, I am at Elaw31. Thanks for tuning in, fellas. Thanks for coming on, especially how late we ended up starting. And everybody have a good night. We'll talk to you guys later.